What's up, you people? How you people doing? Today is going to be somewhat of a complicated video for me to make, simply because it requires a certain amount of transparency and vulnerability. And a lot of the times being vulnerable, especially on the internet, it can be definitely hard. I'm just going to be talking about the feeling of running away, because to be honest, that's the feeling I've been feeling. And something inside of me has been telling me to talk about this, because there may be somebody else out there also in that same type of mind frame. This video does not support running away. I'm not encouraging people to run away from home. More so just trying to give advice and relate and pretty much tell them that they're definitely not alone. I just want to say, if you are underage and let's say you're being abused physically, emotionally, or sexually, and you're thinking about running away from home or whatever you're thinking, make sure that if you are, pack what you need, pack food, pack all the things you're gonna need pretty much to survive before you leave. I say food, clothes, water, stuff like that. Make sure if there's any local authorities, call them and tell them about your situation, or make sure you do research and try to find like a shelter you can stay in that will take care of you or something like that, because that is a very dangerous situation to be in, especially at such a young age for all the people that are young and thinking about running away from home. But just be safe. And if there's any other option, if you have a resolvable issue, make sure you really reflect on what's going on. Really examine the issue. I mean, really think before you do that, because that is a big move. It is a dangerous move, and it's a move that can really be life-altering, really. So by all means, I do not encourage this, but I definitely can understand circumstances which it leads you to feel like you need to run away. A reason I've been feeling like this lately is mostly due to emotional neglect, something I've been struggling with for a long time. Even when I started to take my faith in God seriously, I still struggled with that. The stress of not feeling like I'm heard. I don't have a really good bond with my siblings or my parents. We're very emotionally distant, and we live in the same place. I don't really talk to them or bond with them or laugh with them and share love with them like I really wanted to. We're not close in that way, and it's been very hard to keep my composure. A lot of the times I would get angry and frustrated with my family, and at times I would act irrational out of anger. It felt very out of character for me. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for my mental health. It's just not healthy at all. And I don't have a car, I don't have a job, I don't have these things, and mainly due to other reasons, such as I don't have my state ID or my driver's license. I do have a driver's permit, just not the license. It was a lot of things, difficult to explain, but I did explain it in one of my earlier videos on this channel. I might insert a clip here.
In the process of moving, my parents lost my birth certificate, so that kind of was a major setback, especially when it came to college and work and a lot of things that I wanted to pursue at first. But at the same time, I wouldn't really say I regret that happening, even though I didn't have any power over it. But I'm happy that I didn't get to go to college and get all this stuff and pursue this kind of career or whatever, because I wanted to truly know how people would treat me if they couldn't get money out of me, if I didn't have all these external qualities. I wonder how people would treat me if it was just me without anything. And when I figured out how people would treat me if I didn't have anything, it really shows you who really cares about you and who doesn't. Who would be with you if you had nothing? If you were at ground zero, who would be with you? It really showed me that. Like, if you didn't have anything, who would respect you? Who would be with you? It showed me that a lot of people, if you don't have what they want, and if people can't get something out of you sometimes, then you're useless to them.
Pretty much, I have that feeling inside of me of wanting to get away, but don't necessarily have everything I need. And it's hard, because I'm basically tolerating my family. I'm just living with them. Like, it's not an enjoyable thing at all. And yes, I love them so very much, but it's just not been enjoyable lately. And as a Christian, I mean, I'm talking to everybody, but for me as a Christian, you know, it does say in the Bible that families would divide. It's definitely common, especially for people who are religious or people who live in overly religious households that don't feel free. I could definitely understand that too. I just want to tell you guys this. For all my people who want to escape, I just want to say, you definitely are loved. You're lovable people. I mean, it's very unfortunate that you have to deal with such a hard situation, and I just want you to know that you should be loved, you should be cared for, and you should be listened to. And if there's any time that you felt like you were too much, if you ever felt like a burden or a mistake or whatever you felt like on people's lives, trust me, that is not the case. You are not a burden, you're not a disgrace. You're actually no worse than anybody else here on this planet. Nobody is perfect. Nobody. We've all made mistakes, bad decisions, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be loved or cared for or shown any kind of compassion. So I just want you guys to know, if you ever felt like something is mentally wrong with you or that you're insane, a lot of times people try to make you feel like you're the crazy one and that you're making things up. You're making up reasons to be upset, and I just want you to know that you're not. And don't let people manipulate you. If you seriously see something wrong and somebody tries to make you believe that you're crazy, that's very toxic. And that is something you should distance yourself from. Sometimes that's what it actually takes to become closer. Maybe it just takes some time apart before some people could be reconciled with their families. In certain circumstances, if it's too bad, sometimes people never come together. But don't ever carry the burden of somebody else. Make sure you forgive them on your part and move on with your life. Don't ever carry the hurt or the pain of somebody else. And forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. It doesn't always mean getting back with that person. Sometimes you can forgive them and just love them from a distance. So don't let people convince you that you hate someone just because you want time apart. If you have space between you two, you can grow and develop better and healthier. That's not hate. Because let me tell you something, misery does love company. Misery loves company. Nobody wants to suffer alone. And a lot of the time, I felt like I was suffering alone because nobody else seen a problem with living like that. It's like I tend to watch family stuff. Every time I've came across a video on the internet of friends or brothers and sisters or just family stuff and people are laughing and sharing love and having a good time and joking with each other, that always used to break me, and I have to accept that I don't have that. At least not right now, I don't. You know, since I don't work, I don't really go to social settings. On top of that, I'm somewhat shy, but I can somewhat put my shyness aside when it comes to talking to people because, you know, I really desire a connection. I want you guys to know that you're not alone. And if you are going through something, make sure you're being safe. Make sure you have a plan. And my heart hurts for people who have to deal with that. It really does. Your problems do matter. I'm just gonna remind you again. What you say does matter. And I know that for a fact. A lot of times I used to feel just like that. My emotions most of the time were invalidated. So a lot of times I couldn't speak to the camera like I do now. I couldn't speak like this because I felt like nobody's gonna care what I have to say. I felt like that. I want you to know what you feel inside does matter. Very much. If you're in a situation where you try to make excuses for people who hurt you, don't make excuses for people who hurt you. Even if they were in a bad mood, they could have considered your emotions. They could have considered how you felt. And they could have reached out to you and apologized for the way they've acted towards you. So don't ever make excuses for toxic behavior, because just as we are held responsible and accountable for what we say, it's the same for everybody else. I just pretty much wanted to make this video to let you guys know where my mind is at, but also to help you understand that you matter and that you're not alone. for anybody struggling with any type of difficult family circumstance or any circumstance that makes them feel like they have to run away or leave. And if any of you want anybody to talk to, my socials are at the end of the video. So if you ever feel like contacting me, and if you ever feel alone, I'm always right here. I will hear you out. I'll definitely respond to you, and I will talk to you. And if that makes time easier for you, I will do it. I love you all. God bless you all. Bye.
This makes me sad.